Good afternoon to you, Dominica. Good afternoon to you. It's 4 after the hour of 1 o'clock in the PM. Again, Dominica, if it's on the block, we'll talk about it. But since morning, we've been speaking to the issue of this Venezuelan presidential plane being kidnapped by U.S. officials there in Santo Domingo. A former Dominican ambassador found out more, and he will be telling us something more about the situation there. Let's start off this afternoon there. With this report out of CNN.
Other criminal activity. CNN's Oral Lieberman has details.
This jet was in the Dominican Republic for maintenance when U.S. authorities seized it. FBI agents flew it from the Dominican Republic to Florida. There you can see video obtained exclusively by CNN as it landed in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and was taxiing around there. It's not quite the 747 jumbo jet that the U.S. uses as Air Force One, but it is, according to two U.S. officials, Venezuela's version of Air Force One, used by President Nicolas Maduro to fly around to meetings and to other events there. According to Garland, it was purchased for some $13 million by a shell company before it was illegally flown out of the country. Now, the U.S. and Venezuela have long had a frosty relationship that's only gotten worse, perhaps even almost outright hostile since the July presidential election, the U.S. not recognizing the claimed results of that election. According to Maduro's own regime, he won with some 51% of the vote. The U.S. not recognizing that as a free and fair election. In fact, many other countries not recognizing it as well. It is because of the results or claimed results of that election that the U.S. reimposed sanctions on Venezuela's oil and gas industries. Venezuela said the seizure of that jet was, quote, piracy. Oren Lieberman, CNN in Washington.
For more now, we're joined by Brett Bruin, president of...
Earlier today, a pretty important story coming out of Florida when we learned that the Venezuelan president, the U.S. government, had seized a... Earlier today, a pretty important story coming out of Florida when we learned that the Venezuelan president, the U.S. government, had seized a luxury jet that was used by the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, that officials say was actually illegally purchased through a shell company and then smuggled out of the United States. This is in violations of several sanctions and export control laws. We were able to hear there with an update from those leaders now talking about the seize and why it occurred. I want to go ahead and listen into that now here on Live Now.
Don't mind, please say and spell your name.
Yeah, Anthony Salisbury, Salisbury, Special Agent in Charge for Homeland Security Investigations, Miami, Florida.
So tell us what happened. What do you see behind you here?
So today we've seized a Venezuelan-owned aircraft predominantly used by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in violation of U.S. sanctions and other matters that we're looking at into the aircraft.
What does that mean?
So today we seized the aircraft in violation of U.S. sanctions against Venezuela by the United States government.
We have on the line with us this afternoon there on the Talk on the Block, former ambassador, Dominican ambassador to United Nations. He's been following world events, or he has always been following world events, and has been monitoring the story there. Read this seizure of the Venezuelan president's plane there in Santo Domingo. Crispin, good afternoon to you, Mr. Gregoire. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Matt. I'm doing good.
All right.
Following the development.
Following the developments. What is your take on what we're hearing right now?
Well, Matt, yesterday was a holiday in the U.S., but holidays don't stop events, and it's yesterday, September 2nd, that the Justice Department put out a press release and the title is United States seizes aircraft used by Nicolas Maduro Moros in violation of U.S. export control and sanction laws. And that's a press release from the Justice Department of Justice. And it goes on to say that it's announcing the seizure of a Dassault Falcon 900 EX aircraft owned and operated for the benefit of Nicolas Maduro Moros and persons affiliated with him in Venezuela. The aircraft was seized in the Dominican Republic and transferred to the Southern District of Florida at the request of the United States based on violations of U.S. export control and sanction laws. And there's a quotation here by the Attorney General Merrick Garland. He says, and that was yesterday morning, this morning the Justice Department seized an aircraft we allege was illegally purchased for $13 million through a shell company and smuggled out of the United States for use by Nicolas Maduro and his cronies. That's the Attorney General speaking. And he goes on to say the department will continue to pursue those who violate our sanctions and export controls to prevent them from using American resources to undermine the national security of the United States. Let this another official of the Department of Commerce, he says, and I quote, "Let this seizure send a clear message. Aircraft illegally acquired from the United States for the benefit of sanctioned Venezuelan officials cannot just fly off into the sunset," said Assistant Secretary for Export Enforcement Matthew Axelrod of the Department of Commerce. It doesn't, and he goes on to say, it doesn't matter how fancy the private jet or how powerful the officials. We will work relentlessly with our partners here and across the globe to identify and return any aircraft illegally smuggled out of the United States. And there, in that press release, there's something that I wanted to just underscore, Matt, because the press release is like two and a half pages. But it goes on to say that the seizure of this, and this is a quotation from a special agent, the seizure of this aircraft is another significant action by Homeland Security Investigations working with our domestic and international partners against the illegal activities of the Maduro regime, said Special Agent Charge Anthony Salisbury of Homeland Security Investigations, Miami. And he goes on further to say the efforts here highlight that Homeland Security Investigations' global reach and our continued commitment to enforce U.S. sanctions and stemming the flow of illicit proceeds being generated from high-level foreign public corruption, unquote. So, Matt, that's excerpts from the press release of the Justice Department. And then I made sure to find out what the Venezuelans are saying.
Yes, that's important.
So I came up with the Venezuelan Foreign Ministry. They released a statement yesterday at 6 p.m. And the headline is Venezuela denounces before the international community the hijacking of presidential plane by the U.S. And it goes on to say here that the Venezuelan Foreign Ministry released a statement rejecting the deliberate confiscation by the United States of an aircraft used by the president of Nicolas Maduro. And the quotation here is, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela denounces before the international community that once again, the authorities of the United States of America have illegally confiscated in a criminal reoccurrence, unilaterally and illegally, they impose around the world. The Venezuelan government warns that the action reveals that no state and no constitutional government is safe from illegal actions that ignore international law. And Matt, in that statement
It's loaded. It's loaded. That statement is very loaded.
Yes, but what was interesting to me was that the mission of Venezuela to the European Union, they put out, I think that on X, on former Twitter, they put out a statement that says, Venezuela denounces before the international community that once again the authorities of the United States, in a recidivist criminal practice that cannot be described as anything other than piracy, has illegally confiscated an aircraft, unquote. And then this went on towards the end of their press statement. It goes on to say that Venezuela also accuses the U.S. of using its economic and military power to intimidate and pressure states such as the Dominican Republic, where the plane was held, to be accomplices in the criminal acts. This is an example of the so-called rule-based order, which, in defiance of international law, seeks to establish the law of the strongest, create rules that suit its interests, and execute them with complete impunity. That's what their statement ended.
But tell me, Crispin, should the other Caribbean leaders be worried at this time that the U.S. may be monitoring?
Well, they should, because this plane has been flying to different places. Well, before it was confiscated, but it was flying to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Cuba and Brazil, and there's even rumors that it might have landed at Melvin Hall Airport before.
I was told that, yes.
The plane's registration, the prefix on the plane's registration, T7, is a nationality mark for aircraft registered in the landlocked microstate within Italy, which is called San Marino. So that's where the plane is registered, Matt, in San Marino. But it's operating out of Venezuela.
But some report, I think one CNN report said it yesterday, that recorders were removed from that plane to listen to the meetings that were held on that plane. And remember, the same plane landed in the Melville Airport. So there's some concern there. I can't confirm that, but for sure, that plane, from what I gather, landed in the Melville Airport, carrying Caribbean leaders, St. Vincent for sure. I can't say whether the Prime Minister of Dominica was on that plane at some point, but there's some concern about that recorders were removed from that plane.
I see. Okay. I have not seen that yet, but I'm sure there's a lot more to the story that is unfolding.
A lot more, Crispin. But again, you're saying that there may be repercussions because it carried some, Caribbean leaders to and fro Cuba, St. Vincent. On one occasion, I think the president landed in St. Vincent on that plane for sure.
Right. Well, part of the story that one is not so clear is whether that plane was registered in St. Vincent and Grenadines. But the Miami Herald says that they can't establish that because St. Vincent is saying that plane is not registered in their country. So there's some speculation that it is, but we don't know all the details. But I'm sure more will come out about that.
Of course, we all know that Venezuela is an ally of Russia, And some people are even suggesting that maybe we'll get some retaliation there from Russia. Do you believe that?
Probably not. I don't think the Russians will get themselves mixed in this. They're too clever to get bogged down in anything with the U.S. that is not necessary and doesn't further their interest. They'll just watch and see what happens next on what the U.S. does. But I think, Matt, there's a larger question for President Maduro on his legitimacy as the president of Venezuela, because that last election in July has put him in a very, very vulnerable position, because the onus is on him now to prove that he won the election, and he hasn't been able to do that since July, the late July, and the U.S. is demanding that, so is the EU, and then he has problems with the South American neighbors who would like him to come clean and just establish what happened. And I read a quote of his own ambassador Arias in Mexico, who said that, well, we should just give the evidence, and if we can't, then we may have to go to opposition. The thing is that the party supposedly is still dominating parliament even from that election, but the election has its own flaws. So I don't know much what is going to happen next. I sincerely hope that it does not descend into chaos and you have a civil conflict, because that is all of the ingredients for a major civil conflict is there. This will require some diplomatic negotiation to reach a consensus, because the Maduro regime is not going to go down that easily, even under U.S. pressure, and will fight to the end. So I think it's a very delicate situation we're in.
Would you say that there are lessons from the Venezuela situation, read the elections to that of Dominica? I know the people have been pushing for electoral reform, and they want it like now.
Well, Dominica is not too far behind, because you see, we have had this problem of elections that haven't been free and fair from 2019 going forward, and then what happened 2 years ago with an election that the opposition boycotted. It means that Dominica is unstable politically and needs to address very seriously this electoral reform, because I think that the administration might be singing to the choir in terms of its supporters, but the administration must understand that this is a long-running problem that it has, and that issue is before the Organization of American States. And Matt, if I can just remind you, even under the Trump administration back in 2019, when the opposition had reached out to the OAS for redress, the American delegation called on the Dominica government to do the reform and then hold the elections after. Of course, the Prime Minister Skerritt disregarded the American advice and went on with the election without reform. And then he found himself in an awkward position when his own consultant, Justice Byron, gives him his recommendations. On that very evening, he calls a snap election and does not do the reforms. And now he's stuck now with having to do the reforms. And he doesn't want to address the key attributes of that reform, which is you gotta have, if you're gonna have a new list, I don't see any way around the new list than to have re-registration. Of course, he agrees on an ID card, is opposed to biometric data being used. And so we're still at a stalemate. And I don't think the opposition, it seems to me the opposition in Dominica might just boycott again, whatever he does. If he doesn't go to parliament to create a level playing field, then I think we don't solve the problem. We're just kicking the can down the road for trouble later on. So I think that, he should pay attention to what happened in Venezuela and realize that's not a course. You don't want to have illegal elections that have no legitimacy.
Well, I hope he pays attention from all the opposition, parties I've been listening to. They're asking him to pay attention because the people on the ground, are very serious about it.
Matt, I get that sense. I think that the people, especially on the opposition side, are up to their wits' end. That the parliament that we now have is really not representative of the people of Dominica, and yet it is going to pass legislation that is not going to create a level playing field for electoral governance. And when you have that situation, you're just asking for trouble. Civil conflict, like Venezuela has. Venezuela went on and had the election. They lost, but they don't want to accept the result of their loss.
Oh, if you had to give any advice at this time to the Prime Minister, Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt, what would you say to him, Crispin? What would you say to him, Mr. Gregoire?
Well, Matt, that's a very, that's a very good question. And here's what I would say to Mr. Skerritt. Sir, I was affiliated to the Labour Party and ran the campaign of the Labour Party in 2000, and it was a level playing field. Now, you've been in government as Prime Minister for 20 years. You've been in Parliament for 24 years. And very soon your legacy, you got to figure that one out. And you wouldn't want to have a legacy where you lose credibility post being in government. I would like to see you follow in the footsteps of Edward Oliver LeBlanc and Mary Eugenia Charles, who left power comfortably and did not meddle in the mechanics of elections. I think that's the legacy that he should aspire to, Matt. And if he doesn't seem to want to go down that road, and then what will happen is he will have a very tarnished image when he leaves politics.
All right, Mr. Crispin Gregoire. Somebody sent a note here. Let me see what the person says there quickly. Yes, Matt, I work at the airport and I've seen that plane land in Dominica on numerous occasions. So people are now associating that plane to Dominica. And I'm hoping that this story recorders on that plane does not surface because they say in there that, there may be devices in that plane that may be monitoring, they may have the potential to monitor conversations on that aircraft. So
that's possible. Remember, that's an American-made plane, an American manufactured plane. So, we don't know what's in it. And if you're using communication systems of these planes, they can certainly be monitored by U.S. intelligence.
Somebody else.
If they took out instruments from that plane, then they will have a lot of recordings to ply through.
Well, Venezuela should be the last country accusing others of being involved in illegal activity. That's laughable. Somebody else says.
Well, Matt, they have to say something. I'm not taking any position vis-a-vis Venezuela and the U.S. I've seen some crazy stuff happen. Like for example, when President Trump recognized Juan Guaido, who was not elected by the people as president of Venezuela. That was a prescription for chaos, and Guaido proved us right that he was not capable to lead the country, and he had to run away, and he still has to answer for the money that was entrusted with him, some of the oil money that the U.S. put in his hands and his colleagues. So he had to run away. But I think, my problem with the Venezuelan situation is that it's complicated, Matt. It's not cut and dry like, okay, Maduro had a election, he lost, yes. But I think Maduro's biggest fear is the oligarchy returning to power in Venezuela. And that is really the fight. And that's why I believe that there might have to be a negotiated kind of settlement to this crisis. It's a crisis, it's a political crisis that has major ramifications. And, 7 million Venezuelan people have left Venezuela because of this political crisis that's been going on for a few years now. And how do you get the army and the ruling party to see reason and stop killing people in the streets and arresting? I heard over 2,000 people have been arrested, and it doesn't portend well for the stability of that country, Matt. So that's my concern.
Well, we'll have to keep monitoring, because I suspect a lot more will come from the seizure there of this Venezuelan plane belonging to the president of Venezuela. Again, Crispin, thank you for joining us, having this conversation there. A big thank you to you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care. Yes. Oh boy, somebody says we need to hear the sound there. Which one is that? Let's see if we can go back to it.
Have you forgotten some of the things that life have been in Syria?
1:31 is the afternoon time. This is the talk on the block. Get your reactions there.
Sweet hour of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer. From our not here. Sweet hour of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer. From our love here, sweet hour of prayer.
And he binds me on my father's throat.
Somebody says the U.S. did not just seize the plane for the heck of it. The U.S. Attorney General Merrick B. Garland seized an aircraft it's alleged was illegally purchased for some $13 million through a shell company and smuggled it out of the states for use by Maduro and his cronies.
Tempers and snare. My strength is the power of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer. From our love here. Sweet hour of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer. From our love here. Sweet hour of prayer. And since he bides me, I seek his face. Oh, yeah. Believe in his words, trust in his grace. Just have some faith. Oh, yeah.
Have some faith. I cast on him my every care, my doubts, my shivers and fears. I have the courage to be anywhere and wait on the hour of prayer.
Sweet hour of prayer. Sweet hour of prayer.
It's 1:33 in the afternoon. We're going to start taking our phone calls. Sometime later, we'll repeat a conversation we had with Thea Lafont, Carson, the Golden Girl. Sometime later. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yeah?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
listening to this thing about the Maduro and Venezuela and corruption and criminality and criminal. I mean, the irony in all that, the U.S. is accusing Venezuela and Maduro of criminality and corruption.
Okay.
And they have a convicted felon running for president of the United States to be their leader. I mean, nobody's looking at that. The man's a convicted felon, I didn't say it. The man was brought to court, found guilty on 34 counts. He's a convicted felon and he's been able to run for president of the United States. And the U.S. are telling other countries about criminality and corruption. How that work out?
All right, caller, thank you very much. It's 134, yeah?
Love life, flight, healing, joy. Mr. Pelte, blessings to you, sir.
Blessings to you too.
You and Franklin Moses, boy, they get excited and all, they steal the show. So all you did not want me to talk to Thea, but don't worry, I'll good for you. Matt is very interesting. Matt, this morning I made a contribution and you had somebody who wrote to you and you read it. And a lot of us, Matt, does not understand. Matt, if somebody is strong and you can only sing the strength, the praises of the strength, and not identify the weaknesses, that same strength will devour you. And Matt, if you know the response Crispin was reading, Matt, from Venezuela, you know they never talk about the illegality of the purchase, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
If I listen carefully to see if there would be something to indicate that the plane was not purchased illegally. And I was not saying there is no merit for America action. I talk about the unlimited power and authority of America, and I'm saying that's dangerous. But you heard when I said, Matt, because I would well want them to catch that plane with a whole heap of Caribbean leaders that are corrupt. You heard when I said that this morning, Matt?
You said that, yes.
And I said, the thing is, when it's Americans, if you arrest them anyway, America will ready to wage war to come and get its citizens, whether they're right or wrong. So am I saying that, Matt, America does just allow criminals to go free in America? So some of all you hear and all you does not listen. That's why all you does not learn. And learn to comprehend what all you hear or contextualize what all you hear. So, Matt, I am agreeing with America to a very large extent, the world police, because a lot of leaders in the world gone rogue and they need to be curtailed, Matt. But at the same time, I'm saying America's weaknesses is that it can only punish its people. It does not want anybody else to punish its people unless, well, maybe something, some ammunition. Which country, now I forget the country, where a couple of them enter there with, accidentally, Matt, with ammunition, not guns, a few bullets in the luggage or something, Americans like guns. It's like maybe I smoking weed all the time and a few seeds end up in my pocket or my suitcase or something. So, Matt, I am just saying, I am giving thanks to America for its intervention in that particular situation, but at the same time, I'm not overlooking the hegemonistic authority of America. That's absolute power and authority to be hegemonic, Matt. So it's not that, you must listen and learn. And Matt, trust me, I would want more. Matt, that is the same jet they maybe say that is Scary Tone. You can remember they say Scary Jet was in Melville, Matt?
I heard that, yes.
You heard a rumor like that. So maybe that's the same jet they were talking about. And if it was purchased illegally in America through some fraudulent dealings, Matt, America has every right to be upset because it sanctioned Venezuela for a couple of time now. Isn't that so, Matt?
Well, after the last election, they were more intense because they're not sure whether that these were fair elections.
Well, and I know that infuriated them, and they want some Venezuela yet to prove how free and fair the elections was. Some South American countries, even there, Matt, they are up in arms with Venezuela. And People like Maduro, as the brother say, he does not want the oligarchs to come back and run Venezuela at the risk of stealing election and killing and arresting people. So that's the next thing, man. He gets caught between a rock and a hard place, just like Skerritt now is. He has gotten caught between a rock and a hard place, man, and he does not want to leave government because that's his only form of safety and security. Thank you, bro.
All right, thank you too. It's just about 1:39 in the afternoon. Another comment here. I hope all the other Caribbean leaders that benefited from Maduro ill-gotten gains are ready to face the music. Some of your callers don't understand anything about geopolitics, or people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply with their own opinions. For 493-095-96 and 97, 139. Before I came up this afternoon, there, some young lady from the Salisbury area constituency called and wanted me to express the fact that they have not been paid. One of the NEP workers since July, and they have to buy, school supplies, and it's affecting a lot of parents in that area. So, government, if you're listening to that plea there, try to fix the people up, huh? Especially the NEP workers who have not been paid. They need to get some school supplies. School is opening sometime next week, I think. It only gives them a few days. So please assist these parents. Somebody said, Matt, please ask the listeners to read the Constitution before he comes out on cue and talk nonsense. Being a felon does not prevent anyone from being a president of the United States. Clearly, a Republican there. I've heard it many times, Being a felon does not prevent you from contesting elections there. We're going to take a break and we'll come back. Yes. Come back.
Mountaintop, natural spring water. All bottled water is not created equally. There is bottled water and then there is mountaintop, natural spring water. Mountaintop natural spring water, sourced from healthy, mineral-rich Caribbean's natural springs. It is the best tasting water of all. It is also healthy with natural minerals. Some other bottled waters remove the natural minerals which we need to have a healthy balance, but Mountaintop keeps them for us, just as nature intends it to. So for great tasting and healthy bottled water, choose Mountaintop natural spring water. It is the best for you. Available at ESA Trading Limited in 500 ml, 1.5 liter, and 5 liter bottles. Retail and wholesale prices start from $1.95. ESA Trading Limited, making a difference for you.
Somebody's on the telephone there at 142. Hello, talk to me.
Yes, sir. How are you?
How are you, sir?
Very good, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think our people in Dominica should concentrate more on their prime minister than worrying about what's going on in America and who is convicted, felon, whatever it is. Because you have a government that has been taking money from everywhere. That's why he's supporting Maduro in Venezuela. They like the freeness they were getting from Venezuela. And not only him, but all these guys in the Caribbean. They support socialism because they want to stay in power forever. But guys, America is watching you all. America, they have eyes on positive right now. the Americans are people in Dominica and most of the Caribbean countries. So those guys better watch out.
According to some persons, they may be walking on eggshells. That's some of the Caribbean leaders, huh?
Matt? Oh boy. I hear people talking about America and its dealings. I heard your program this morning, but I don't know, your telephone has issues. Matt, Trump running for president has nothing to do with Maduro having his plane flying under sanction. Okay? The sanctions that are put on Maduro is put in by America and some of the European countries, because don't you ever forget, America is not alone in what it does. America does what it does to protect itself and its business. Trump may be convicted, but there are no laws saying that he cannot be president. And there comes the thing. So in the Constitution, that is out of the window. So that argument has no legs. That's, you could drop that one. But I want to visit something I heard Crispin just said, that Maduro don't want the oligarchs to be back in power again. Maduro and his cronies are the oligarchs. Unless he looking at it from the people prior, before Chavez, were the oligarchs, but Venezuelans had freedom. Venezuela was one of the most prosperous countries in the region as far as you talk about Caribbean and Latin America. And under Chavez, it all disappeared and the country gone to the dogs. Over 70 million people have left the country. So now what we're looking at is America is protecting its interests. Venezuela has oil, just like in the Middle East has oil. And wherever you find America interests, you will find these kind of things. That's another argument. The airplane was bought illegally. It was bought in another company's name for somebody else who is under sanction, i.e. Venezuela. It's unlawful in their laws, in their books. Okay? So when we start talking all this nonsense, we got to look at all the pieces that put this puzzle together. America is not worrying about Russia coming in and having to do anything with what just took place in Venezuela. You know who has worries? All the Alba nations, all the friends of Maduro who denying the people their rights to be able to vote and have a decent life. Today I live in America. I could say any damn thing I want about the government of America, the president of America and whatnot. I'm not going to jail. I won't be persecuted by anyone like I live in Venezuela and Dominica or any one of them Alba countries that think all they're dictators. That's how countries should run. We got to understand one thing. And the other part of the thing I want to say, there's a whole lot Mark would say, but I just want to keep to lick straight small points that people understand, because I don't want to complicate things. Today or tomorrow, if America decide there ain't no money live in America to go to places in the Caribbean who supports Maduro, they starve. Maduro cannot keep them running. It's the American dollar. They have more Caribbean people in America than they are in Venezuela, in any one of them Alba countries, in Russia, China put together. This is where we get our daily bread, because a lot of us today sending money home, sending barrel home, doing business, building, all kind of stuff. So when you talk about America, yes, you could criticize America, but you must do the pros and cons. You might have to look at the way you look at things. It's not pro or con per se to make a choice or to have an opinion, but it is what it is. And in Europe, same thing. The European countries might have more Caribbean people than Venezuela and whatnot. So we could criticize. We have that right to criticize in democratic, so-called democratic countries. But there are people in Venezuela too, they cannot criticize, you know. You see what people did in Guatemala. They got rid of Evo Morales in Bolivia. The people couldn't take it no more in a short time that they had them as leaders. So we got to understand what's taking place, my brother, and be more geopolitically sensitive to what's taking place, because we wait on a little thing like that and then jump and run off our mouth and don't understand the geopolitics of the region and the leaders that we follow and what they are about. And one last thing for you, Mr. Scary, he don't have to worry about them coming and snatch him now. All they're doing is taking and collecting information. There's a thing in every airplane called a black box. When it's in an accident, they go and bring out the black box, and everything is recorded, all the flight information. It's the same with the CIA on your case. They could enter your plane, come in your house, bug your place, and you never know nothing. The same way the Chinese could have the president house in Dominica bug. That's how people work. They work clandestine operations. So all what I'm hearing on there, man, we got to think wider, bigger, and be a bit more informed on what we talk about. America protecting its interests. Simple as that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
News from AutoTrade. Incredible savings are here. Take advantage of AutoTrade's Thrifty Thursday promotion. Mark your calendars. On the last Thursday of each month, AutoTrade is offering up to 20% off items throughout the store. Yes, 20% off. But wait, there's more. Keep your eyes peeled for our exclusive Deal of the Day offer, bringing you even bigger discounts on select items. Whether you're looking for car accessories, maintenance essentials, or just browsing for a great deal, we've got you covered. So be sure to swing by AutoTrade every last Thursday. At AutoTrade, it's more than a vehicle, it's a relationship. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Dominica, it's 1:50 already in the afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Yes, I.
Matt, the previous caller talked about the interests of America, and I can agree with him. But sometimes that interest is so selfish that it deprives the citizens of other countries to a degree where it creates poverty and stress for them. It is so selfish that, let's put it this way. Let's go back to slavery. You took Africans. It was your interest to get these people to work for free. That's how extreme it can get. But I'm just using that example as an extreme one. Let's go to the bauxite prices in Jamaica. When Jamaica needed a better price for its bauxite, look how America behaved. How selfish did they behave? They were terrorizing the whole country of Jamaica just because the prime minister at the time wanted a better price for his bauxite. And that's not fair. So, how selfish does that kind of interest have to be? How extreme can you be? You have to watch those things, and we look at their history. They have been very selfish in their interests, extremely selfish, to the point where other people were very much affected. And that I would like to see change. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you too. It's 1:52 in the afternoon. Let's do this there with our friends there from Lena's. We'll come back.
I mean, but if they could, they would say something like this. I like Linus Vepladu. I tell my family brought me to Linus after I die. And the way Linus took care of my body with respect and dignity, Linus Funeral Home. 30 years of experience, professional, reliable and compassionate service. We've had 24-hour emergency service. So Lamunumo, Pakite Anye Batu Dio, PA 449-1800, 275-7564, 449-2100, or the emergency number 277-1800. That time is for you to breathe and grieve. Linus is not willing that any should die, but Bobot, Zandra, you must go. So when you go with the best chaperone, Linus Funeral Home. Mama Tutu Famdi, si c'est pas Linus, il a fini à l'été.
Our numbers are 449-1800, 449-2100, 275-7564, and 276-0400. Call Lyndhurst Funeral Home today.
Exciting news from AutoTrade. Incredible savings are here. Take advantage of AutoTrade's Thrifty Thursday promotion. Mark your calendars. On the last Thursday of each month, AutoTrade is offering up to 20% off items throughout the store. Yes, 20% off. But wait, there's more. Keep your eyes peeled for our exclusive Deal of the Day offer, bringing you even bigger discounts on select items. Whether you're looking for car accessories, maintenance essentials, or just browsing for a great deal, we've got you covered. So be sure to swing by AutoTrade every last Thursday. At AutoTrade, it's more than a vehicle, it's a relationship. Terms and conditions apply.
When you want the best, what you do? Shop at SCS. Better than the rest. Go shop at SCS. And they all confess. Shop at SCS. You get more for what they say. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Yeah. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. What they say. Shop at SCS. SCS family. Customer friendly. With free locations. It's so convenient. And our prices, they are the nicest. Madam, miss you. That's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCS. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCS. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, couple, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side, what? Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Oh, yeah. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
Creole Handbook features the legendary Raymond Lawrence and members of the Comité Petit Creole with their new publication, Hanu Upon Creole, a basic guide for teaching and learning the Creole language, while at the same time promoting and preserving this rich, expressive medium of communication, which is such an integral part of Dominica's cultural heritage. Hanu Upon Creole, this Friday, September 6th on the big station Q95 FM from 11 a.m. Hanu Upon Creole will allow learners to interact with each other as they learn the language through a number of activities, including identifying objects in photographs and illustrations, role-playing through short dialogues, and self-testing by working on simple exercises. Hanu Upon Creole, sponsored by Digicel and hosted by Prince Wadix, and will also be live on Q95 Facebook page and YouTube channel. Hanu Upon Creole focuses on both oral and written Creole. However, emphasis is placed on spoken Creole in an effort to have the learner achieve basic communication skills in the Creole language by responding to very simple and basic commands and questions. Hanu Upon Creole. Learners will be encouraged to use simple sentences and phrases related to practical everyday situations. The objective is to encourage proper pronunciation and intonation in Creole. Hanu Upon Creole. Each module will include photographs or illustrations, a list of relevant vocabulary, short dialogues, and some simple sentences. Hanu Upon Creole. This Friday from 11 a.m. on Q95 FM, the big station, Creole Handbook. Connecting Dominica to its history. Creole Habit, a front row seat into the culture of Dominica.
Let's go back to the telephone. We just have about a few more minutes because we're going to replay the conversation we had this morning. Everybody's been asking for it. Those who missed it, with Thea Lafon, our Golden Girl. So stick around in the next few minutes. Hello, yes?
Matt, let me tell you some double standards that's going on with the United States.
Okay.
President Putin was in Mongolia last night.
Mm-hmm.
And you know there's a world arrest warrant out for President Putin from the World Court
Mm-hmm.
and the United States. And Mongolia was meant to arrest Putin. And Mongolia say, Pala, not me. I that arresting Putin. America say, oh yes, well, you're in trouble. But here the double standard. Netanyahu has an arrest warrant for him anywhere he goes in the world. But he travels to the United States since after that, and no arrest has ever been done. So you cannot play with Uncle Sam, Matt. He will take you wherever he wants you, when he wants you. Netanyahu and Israel is owned by America. The Jews own America. So you see double standard, my brother. The fellas decided they're going to get that jet of Maduro. Maduro playing, they let him play his marbles, they even let him play some Monopoly. And here's what happened to him.
So Peter, should the Caribbean leaders be worried?
Well, Matt, I just found out that there's a CARICOM meeting, emergency meeting. They're going to send out a protest complaint to the United Nations, all of them jointly, especially all the Alba Petro-Carib countries like us. And they should.
They should.
And they should. I agree with them. They should. America, you can't be doing that to people, man. After all, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, here we are, all the Caribbean islands depending on...
I want to see which Caribbean leader will be the first to react to what happened there in the Santo Domingo, where that plane was flown from that Caribbean island. I want to see who's the first to react. Let's see who's brave.
Marlon, the fellas are on Zoom from last night. They're on Zoom. Up to this morning, they're on Zoom meeting, and they're talking.
Well, let's see who's the first to react. Hello from the Alba countries. Hello, yes?
Yes, Mr. Pelte, blessings. What was that, Peter?
Peter Carroll.
I like the contrast and the comparing and everything. And not the same thing I said. Most of the times, people just do not want you to say anything about America. You sing in America praises, and if you say something bad about them, some people have to attack you. Don't worry. Matt, you have said it on a few occasions. Angelo Allen have said it countless times. When Norman Chillinford used to call, hey! And Mr. G, I heard him said it the other day. If he had go to school, he would be a damn fool. Matt, have you said that already?
I've said Bob Marley said that, yes.
Okay, you refer to Bob Marley as saying, a lot of education sometimes makes some people foolish because
a little education does make some people foolish. A little education, yes.
And they like to talk, a little education is a dangerous thing. Look at what a lot of education have done to the world. Matt, I'm saying all that to say, Matt, I really like America, but America have some flaws that is obvious, and you cannot not point it out while you're singing their praises. You getting me, Matt?
I'm here.
You see how straightforward I am? I am saying America have its flaws. There are areas I love, because these little rogue countries like Dominica, Matt, that's why I know you know Dominica. Look at the amount of persecution on Lennox Linton, Edison James, Thompson Fountain, they even had Joseph Isaac, they had Bosso, and these guys are dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
They said to disappear Lennox Linton. They sent police at Lennox home to search his home for a crime Tony Stephenson Skerritt committed. But when you get talking about America and look at what is happening in Dominica, and that is how balanced and fair I am in my argument. So yeah, we don't like America because America is bully. But might is right. Even the little Chinese fella you had there the other day, Matt, come in there and talk about America and China, the one world domination. Looking in the Philippines again, Matt, 5 times for the month. Did you see what they did to the hull of a ship of the Philippines, Matt? The ship just ran into it. So might is right. And America have a lot of might. But remember Rome, remember England and the Greeks and all these great empires that ruled supreme. They overact, they overreached, Matt, and they were destroyed. So I am saying it's just a cautionary comment, and I'm saying people like Maduro, even if he's within his rights, and which he's not to a certain extent based on the illegal purchase of that aircraft, Matt, I think that give America grounds. And while you're saying yes, Every power needs to be curtailed, but who can curtail America? And look, Peter, just tell you, in Mongolia, where they say you not in Mongolia, I heard the place Putin had to travel and they wanted them to arrest Putin. Them man say, no, they America want to come down on them. But look at Benjamin Netanyahu, maybe about 100,000 people now. You have maybe over 50 or 40 something thousand confirmed dead, but not those who got buried under rubble. Men, women, and children, man. When he traveling to America and no dog back. So that is our argument. So people, please be careful when people are powerful. It's just like Scarrett. Everybody wants to sing his praises because they might need a favor, even if they haven't seen where they might need a favor. But they want to be crushed smart, walking on eggshells, not wanting to muddy the feathers or muddy the waters or ruffle any feathers. One day they need help, the children need, or the wife sick or something, they might have to go to him and watching crimes and violence and corruption, billions of dollars disappearing, and because of you might need help. That is quite selfish. What about the country? What about the future of the young people in a country? So we cannot have them running amok. So in one sense, Matt, you give thanks to America for being the world police, and on the other sense, you're saying, well, no, they're overreaching. So what is wrong with those arguments, Matt? Thank you, bro.
All right, let's see if we can get our final phone call before we move on to Thea Lafont, the Golden Girl. We spoke to her this morning. A lot of people thought we should repeat that conversation. So stick around for that, okay? Yes?
Yes, Matt.
Right.
Matt, I would like to agree with Blessings because, you see, what happens is that you have the world police, but the world police can be abusive. So when the police are good, you say, yes, we need the police. But when they're abusive, you must also say that they're abusive. And not only that, when you bring a criminal before a judge, he looks at the history of the criminal. And nobody said it better than Farrakhan in an interview with 60 Minutes. He told the American interviewer that you have no moral ground to stand on because of your history of slavery. He blasted him. And it was an eye-opener because no one had ever opened the eyes of Americans the way Farrakhan did. I'm not a big fan of Farrakhan, but he certainly opened my eyes right there and then because he exposed America has no moral ground to stand on if you look at the history. And if you had to bring them as for judgment, you would have to look at the history. The judge always, the police always bring your file out. And based on your file, you might commit a little crime. But because you have that rap sheet, they might come down on you with a heavy sentence just because of your history, man. And that's what's happening.
All right, somebody's reminded us that the U.S. is not a signatory to the International Court of Justice. Therefore, the Prime Minister of Israel can be arrested when he travels to the U.S. Just a note there. The U.S. is not a signatory to the International Court of Justice. Therefore, the Prime Minister of Israel can't be arrested when he travels to the U.S. Hello, talk to me,
Yes, sir. Back on that, I know these guys like to attack the Jewish state, but who attacked the Jewish state on October 7th? It was Hamas and the criminals that raped kids, murdered people. Just recently, when Israel tried to rescue some people, they were found dead, shot in the head. And just let me remind my dear friend Blessing and the guy who would like to end just the other guy who was on before Blessing. When the Messiah returns to earth to take over, he will be in Jerusalem. Okay? And that's where the Messiah is coming back. When he comes back, he will be in Jerusalem. They want to destroy the Jewish state, so the Jewish people have to protect themselves. Israel is a small country. Why aren't all the Arab countries that surround Israel, why aren't they helping the Palestinians? Egypt, Iraq, Syria, the so-called Iran, why aren't they helping their Muslim brothers? No, they want to destroy Israel. That's not going to happen. God is protecting Israel. Whether some people want to believe it or not, but I believe it because I believe in my Bible. God is protecting Israel. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 2:08 is the afternoon time. It would serve the heads of CARICOM well to see what the U.S. got on them before they think of challenging the U.S. Sanctions. They might be opening a whole can of worms. Those recordings from the jet data could be damning. Dominique, at this time, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back to Thea Laforce's conversation with us here at Q95. Stick around, stick around.
Creole Handbook features the legendary Raymond Lawrence and members of the Comité pour Études Creole with their new publication, Anu Upon Creole, a basic guide for teaching and learning the Creole language, while at the same time promoting and preserving this rich, expressive medium of communication, which is such an integral part of Dominica's cultural heritage. Anu Upon Creole, this Friday, September 6th on the big station Q95 FM from 11 a.m. Anu Upon Creole will allow learners to interact with each other as they learn the language through a number of activities, including identifying objects in photographs and illustrations, role-playing through short dialogues, and self-testing by working on simple exercises. Anu Upon Creole, sponsored by Digicel and hosted by Prince Wadix, and will also be live on Q95 Facebook page and YouTube channel. Anu Upon Creole focuses on both oral and written Creole. However, emphasis is placed on spoken Creole in an effort to have the learner achieve basic communication skills in the Creole language by responding to very simple and basic commands and questions. Anu Upon Creole. Learners will be encouraged to use simple sentences and phrases related to practical everyday situations. The objective is to encourage proper pronunciation and intonation in Creole. Anu Upon Creole. Each module will include photographs or illustrations, a list of relevant vocabulary, short dialogues, and some simple sentences. Anu Upon Creole. This Friday from 11 a.m. on Q95 FM, the big station, Creole Habit, connecting Dominica to its history. Creole Habit, a front row seat into the culture of Dominica.
Who I was, who made me resilient. In order to have me focus on that, they really supported me. It's paid off. It really has.
You know what's really beautiful about what you said after the competition right now is you fully understand how sport can transcend.
Yeah.
So tell us about your people.
My people are amazing. Dominica, aka Waitukubuli, is the nature isle of the Caribbean. It is beautiful. It is a gem. The people are as beautiful as the land, and the support and love is abundant. And when I say it really takes to be known that outside my family, and I do love my family, it really was the people that I met along the way, the people that they put in my life that kind of made me who I was, who made me resilient. And I'm so proud to be from that beautiful land. Thank you, Dominica.
And last question, how are they going to be celebrating in Dominica? What do you believe the response will be back home?
I have no clue. I don't even know if I've thought past, will I have drug testing after this if I'm chugging water? But I will say, have a drink for me, my island, and just keep loving one another and supporting your young athletes. That's all I ask, so that more of these medals can come our way.
All right, Dominica, we're here with Thea Gatson Lafont. Good morning to you. I just have to tell you that in your early days, I brought you to school.
Yes, you did.
You did.
You did.
And here we are. Dominica, of course, how did you make it here? I see you're still struggling on your crutches.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm doing well. So as many people know at this point, I actually got elective procedure on my knee just to smooth out some cartilage that was in there. It was actually bugging me all season.
Okay.
And we decided, my team and I decided that we were going to wait to deal with it after the Olympics.
Okay.
As you can see, I am on crutches and I didn't want to have a rehab process during the season and risk the Olympics. But I'm doing well. My doctor's very happy. We're still in contact, even while I'm on island. And everyone is being very kind and patient with me as it is taking me a bit longer to move from point A to point B.
How was the reception thus far?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I've ever felt so many physical embraces, but also so many emotional and verbal ones too. I knew that Dominicans were happy. I knew that they were proud. I mean, just from the messages I was receiving, even while still in Paris. But to come here and to watch everyone, and I mean everyone, all ages, all sizes, it doesn't matter what, coming out here and being excited and being proud and just seeing like this perfect little Dominican world where everyone is just on the same page and rallying behind a positive energy. And then on top of that, you know, I have to give kudos to the government and the gifts that they provided myself and my husband. I mean, that's truly life-changing gifts towards us. I mean, you talk about even, it's one thing, you know, the land and the cash prize, but there as an honor, like the diplomatic passport, for not only for myself and my husband, I mean, that is an extreme gracious gift. You're talking, you know, there are other athletes in other countries, like in Jamaica, for example. I mentioned the other day that Elaine Hare Thompson is also being coached by her husband and is not even granted that privilege by her own country of Jamaica for her and her husband. So these are, you know, accolades and titles. I'm now officially an ambassador for sports internationally that are truly life-changing. It is exactly, to this date, 1 month since I competed at the Olympic finals. This is a 1 month anniversary. Already? Yes, already. See how time has flown, right? And to see how much, you know, life has changed. I am so grateful. I really am.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely.
Franklin?
Yeah, give us a rundown of your daily routine. That has been and will always be your daily routine. After 3, 1, 2, or I should say on your mark. Get set, talk.
Nowadays, we wake up. I bathe if I bathe, fix my hair, makeup, pick out an outfit. I hope you see what I'm wearing.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see what I'm wearing.
I'm like
today,
a football association.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like that.
And if I can grab something to eat, I can grab something to eat. But actually, I tend to eat on the road if I have to. But I'm in the car within 30 to 35 minutes of waking up. And we are just event after meeting, after meeting, after event. Yes. Occasionally I can...
Busy few days, huh?
I have said it is the busiest I've ever been in my life, but also the happiest I've been in my life.
Amen.
Absolutely. My schedule has been packed between visiting schools, which are very near and dear to my heart, visiting certain companies, business meetings, partnerships, deals, all that. Plus videos, photographs taken, photo shoots taken for different partnerships I'm working on right now. It has been a booked and busy visit, but that also means it's been full of blessings.
So the business community has been good to you?
Very good to me. Very good to me.
Rewind that tape, Franklin, hold on. Rewind that tape on that specific day 1 month ago. Can you tell us about that moment?
Oh, goodness. 1 month ago to the date. I believe at this point, around this time, I was getting ready to compete, and I remember sitting at the Athletes Village, and I had done something similar before Indoor World, and I have been getting better at verbalizing what I want to happen. I used to be kind of almost nervous to talk about what my goals were. And I realized that if I can just get it out, even in like the smallest manner, it was better. And so around this moment, I was sitting by myself in a random little corner, and I turned my camera on my phone, and I whispered. I was like, what if? Because I was afraid to say that loud, you know? It's like, what if we do something incredible? What if we make history?
At that very moment, huh?
Yeah. I have the recording on my phone still. I haven't shut it anybody. And the last thing I said was, what if we win? And I turned the camera off. And that was the last kind of moment or even doubt I let creep into my head, because they were all what ifs. You know, they weren't even let's go. It was just what ifs. And I let myself have that one last moment of doubt, because moving on from that point was going to be confidence. And then we went out there and we did our job. We got one safety jump in, the first jump, to make sure we had a mark, not a foul. And then my dear husband and coach pulled me aside and he told me, listen, if you want to do something serious right now, you have to do it now. There is a storm coming in. We know that jumpers don't jump as far in the rain. It's tentative. You don't want to slip on the board. We've had issues with that all season. Athletes getting hurt on the board. And he was like, if you want to do it, it has to be now. You can't hold back. After you jump, it is probably going to rain and downpour for the rest of the competition. And I looked at him and I said, okay, I understand. I went back to the area where all the athletes were. I checked my body, made sure my muscles were open and loose. I remember being on that runway when it was my turn and thinking, just jump free. Just go for it. Just go for it. That's it. Just jump free. That's it. And we did. And we sure did. And I did a hop that we've done at practice. I did a step that we've done at practice. I did a jump that I did at practice. And when I hit the sand, I heard the crowd go crazy. And I was like, okay, good. That was a good one. I think that was a good one. And it ended up being a great one. So.
Ephraim?
Okay. We've been told that an athlete goes through a regime of what you can eat and what you couldn't eat. Mm-hmm. Bring us down from breakfast, lunch, dinner, exercise. I'm going to be hard on you this morning.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. I want to preface this by saying that what I'm going to tell you is championship eating, nutrition. It differs from the rest of my season. So every World and every Olympics, this is what I'm focusing on.
Okay. Tell us now.
So about 3 weeks out from the Olympics, I start trimming everything I eat, meaning that I am no longer truly snacking. I am no longer consuming carbs in the form of pasta or rice. Everything that I eat is either a lean meat, so turkey, chicken, sometimes fish, but fowl meats, like poultry, holds me over longer, keeps me fuller longer. And it's fruit and vegetables. That is it. Mm-hmm. It is turkey, chicken, fruit, vegetables, and I prefer to consume it in like the raw form. Mm-hmm. So I won't necessarily have cooked vegetables. I'll probably have like a salad. I think for 3 weeks in Paris, I probably ate grilled chicken or grilled turkey skewers. Yes. Literally a fruit salad, oftentimes with melon. Mm-hmm. For electrolytes, watermelon has natural electrolytes, very hydrating. Mm-hmm. And for vegetables, it was cucumbers and carrots with a light little dressing on top.
That's it?
Raw. And I would mix up maybe some of the veggies and fruit, and maybe increase the quantities of what I'm eating. Mm-hmm. But that was it. And the mentality was like, I give my body what it needs and nothing of what I truly want. And it was just getting me as lean as possible, but also ensuring that I'm not hungry and ensuring that I have energy. I would eat some bread to kind of manage the energy, because carbs is energy. I have few pieces of bread leading up to competition to make sure I have those energy reserves in my body. But for about a month, that's what I ate for every meal.
Every meal. Interesting. At this time, my CEO, Mr. Sheridan Gregoire, wants to reach in and have a conversation, congratulate you. So let me give him a chance. Mr. Sheridan Gregoire, good morning to you, sir.
Morning, Matt. How are you doing?
Morning to you, sir. Yes, okay.
You should be. That young lady epitomizes all that is great about Dominica and the Caribbean. For her to show the stick-to-itiveness, the wherewithal, the commitment and the passion over the years to keep fighting and to eventually climb the mountaintop and be the best in the world, amongst the best all across the globe, flying Dominica's flag high, making the people proud, showing the brilliance, the amazing artistry, the confidence, the intensity, the mental toughness, and the wherewithal. Down to her interview, she shows incredible intelligence, perception, and she's a great ambassador for Dominica. And I'm going to be greedy and say for the Caribbean, because we want to take a little piece of that brilliance too, so our young people can emulate her. It was truly magnificent. 1402, 1502, my goodness. It was brilliant. She blew away the world. And Dominica's flag is flying everywhere across the globe.
And that's for you. See, this is a senator and commentator from Trinidad. He actually was there covering in Jamaica, covering the games. I was very, very proud of that moment.
I think one of
a former Olympic coach as well.
Oh, very nice. Another member of the committee. I mean, I did not fathom that the pride of this moment would extend so far, right? You expect, of course, Dominicans, sure, but even the magnitude of that surpassed my expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Dominicans internationally, but then to see the Caribbean as a whole, essentially big up Dominica and, give us such kind words and support and be proud of a daughter of the Caribbean in general. It's like, okay, yes, she's under the Dominican flag, but no, she's still within the Caribbean. So it's still something that they can be proud of too. So the pride extended past just the Dominican flag. It has really transcended into the entire Caribbean.
How many interviews you've had since?
Honestly, I lost count. While I was still in Paris, I maybe knocked out over 16.
16.
While I was in Paris, and maybe
major networks as well.
1 week, yeah.
Major
BBC. Interviews for Washington Post, a lot of their social media stuff, Al Jazeera, you name it. I have done probably almost all of it. NBC, all of it.
We would never be able to pay you for all that publicity that you've given Dominica.
I don't necessarily think I did it with any pay in mind, and it's the joy of putting us on the map. It's the joy of speaking about it and teaching others about us. I truly mean it when I say that we are a gem. It is a joy to brag about my country. I mean, I do it any opportunity given.
Mm-hmm.
And for that matter, yes.
A lot of people, a lot of the critics say, why Dominica? Why did she not compete for America?
Even though I was mainly raised in the U.S., my parents never allowed me to forget where I came from. My culture was very much so rich in my household, whether it was food or prayer groups. We had a very good Dominican community where we were in Maryland. I mean, if you know any names, the Bertrands were nearby. Carissa Etienne ended up living just 5 minutes down the street from us. I mean, we ended up kind of creating a little support family, Dominican family right where we are. And so when I turned 16 and I had the option to start competing internationally, there truly wasn't a hesitation in who I decided. I was going to represent Dominica. It's my homeland, my country. And that was that. There wasn't any...
No doubts there.
No, there was...
No hesitation.
None at all. And the only time I ever wavered on that was around 2017 when there was a transition at the DOC with the previous president leaving and Billy Doctorow coming in. And I was unsure if there was true change coming in at all. And I was like, I have gone through ups and downs with this DOC as it is. Do I wait and risk falling back into the same negative interactions, right? The same lack of support.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my mother who told me to be patient.
I spoke to her a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
She told me the same thing.
And listen to your mother. That's all I can say, because I did that, and we have a completely different DOC by the late 2017s, and we did that early. And that was the only moment I ever faltered. I maybe even considered leaving Team Dominica, and that was because I felt like my hands were tied.
Somebody's asking a question. Please ask her for me how difficult it is to balance your professional life versus your personal life and your husband as a coach.
That's a great question. I always say that it either works or it doesn't. There's no in between.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for us, we're very blessed that it works. We're very good at kind of flipping that switch of coach, athlete, husband, wife. But I think the biggest part is we never actually hold grudges. I see Aaron and I's partnership as coach and athlete as truly a team. There is not a subordinate in this interaction, meaning that when he's telling me to fix something, he's telling me to do so because he wants the best for us, that he sees that there is more potential, for success. There's more ground to cover, for lack of better words. And so I don't ever see it as who are you talking to like that? No, that's not what it is. It says, okay, got it. And if you've ever heard Aaron coach me, he's very blunt, but that's what I prefer. Like, I see it as, I want to be successful. Tell me what I need to be successful. I don't need you to sugarcoat it. And it's okay. If my feelings are hurt, it'll be temporary. We can talk about it if I think something was too far.
Mhm.
But I need you to in the most efficient manner, tell me how to be great. And it works.
He has never failed you.
No. And if anything, we after practice, we might talk and we debrief. By the time we get into our home, it's calm. It's calm. So it works very well.
Franklin, any other question?
No, I was about to ask this very, very, very same question. So what I'm going to do is tailor it.
Mhm.
Now, I call it the dispensation of time.
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever, did it ever cross your mind that one day this young girl would supersede all expectations? Tell me how your heart feels, confirms to you. Tell me, take your time, breathe. Yeah, because this moment is timeless.
It is.
So tell us about that. All the accolades you've got, and how has it, even just a minuscule, changed certain aspects of your life and approach to life with your husband, coach?
I don't think I even had that moment of reflection until I came to Island. So until then, I think I was just doing interview, studio, rehab for the knee.
Mm-hmm.
And it really took my visit to Convent Prep, the first school we visited on Island.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched this very sweet little girl sing the national anthem.
Mm.
And imagine I cried. Tears did not even fully fall down my face on the podium in Paris. But watching this little girl sing brought me to full tears. And I realized for the first time where I came from. In her, I saw myself. And I realized that this moment truly has transcended me. It's transcended generations. It has, like you said, exceeded my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about achieving this pinnacle of your sport, right? Everybody wants to be an Olympian, and then everybody hopes and works to one day be an Olympic champion. Coming into the Olympics, I said, I want to be on that podium. I want to win. But sometimes you might feel that sometimes dreams might be so fickle, like everyone is fighting for that same spot. Is it going to be me? I want it to be me. I've been working for it, but is it going to be my turn? Did we do enough? Did I leave every stone unturned? No stone unturned, excuse me. But I think it was that moment in Convent Prep, looking up those grand steps that I used to say my morning prayers on before going to my classroom. And I realized that this little girl from this little island ended up being not only on the biggest stage in sports, but being on top of that podium with her flag flying. This little country was all of a sudden thrusted into the limelight.
That was a moment there.
And I don't even know if the full, gravity of it all has truly sunk in. It's so weird hearing people call me ambassador or even announcing me as the Olympic champion. Because at the end of the day, I still feel like I'm just the, Maho Canefield, mommy's dropping me off before going to Mappin, or Simaka's dropping me off before going to Mappin, and they're at social center, and it's just little old me.
Yeah, I had a chance to drop you here there on some occasion, so I understand. But let's take a few phone calls because a lot of callers are coming in, and we have until 10:25. Are you there, caller?
Yes, I am, Matt. And good morning to you, Sia.
Good morning.
I've been following you since I started hearing about you doing triple jump and everything. And when you did your first jump in Paris, I was a little worried because it was a bit far off the line. And I was communicating with Dr. Fountain, and he told me, but it's a first jump, Give her a chance, give her a first jump. I said, all right. And then when you did the 15.2, that was really great for us in Dominica. The celebrations was not as
instantaneous as it was in St. Lucia because there wasn't any advertisement of you jumping and people being aware of you in the Olympics and so on. But I'm really happy you did do that for yourself and your country, and I know the Caribbean is piggybacking on that because we have 2 Olympic athletes winners in the Caribbean, and both are from sister islands. You know, it wasn't like that when the guy in Grenada won the 400 meters, but it is truly special now that we have Dominica and St. Lucia. So I'd like to thank you and continue. And I really thought that you would do it this year because your physique looks like that girl from Cuba who won the Olympics in 2000, the last Olympics before Paris. You know, I saw your physique was like hers, and I said, okay, you're going there, you know. So I'd like to thank you again for Dominica, and all the best wishes in the future. Good morning.
All right. What do you tell a Dominican athlete at this time that want to get to where you got?
Well, I always say that one of the key things is that you find a good coach, but you also need to be very careful of your support. And people are always surprised when I bring that to the forefront. I think one of the key components of being a champion is realizing that it's very difficult to do it on your own. Meaning that you need to have people in your corner that will hold you accountable, that will also support you. Even in the days, especially on the days where you are doubting yourself or you're maybe slipping in focus. Because there were days where, you know, like I said, I questioned if I was ready. I questioned if I'd be ready in time for the Olympics. I questioned if I was doing enough. I questioned, you know, just doubts creep in my head. I'm working my butt off, but is it enough? Am I good enough? Even after winning an indoor championship, even after winning an indoor gold, you come back and I'm like, can I do it again? Not many athletes go to win an indoor worlds and come back and win an Olympic medal, Olympic gold at that. A double win is very rare. I want to say the only people that did it, I believe, was Julian Alfred and myself this year, if I'm mistaken, and Mondo Duplantis. So
interesting.
You need that support.
Somebody's asking, and I think they said that they've never heard that question asked before. What are your future plans? Do you intend sometime to return to Dominica to live? Like that question.
So that's a great question. I do plan to have more of a consistent presence on island. That is number one goal for sure. It'll be especially easier to do so now that I have a plot of land. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I have access to markups and drawings of my home, future home. And so we plan to start building. So that being said, I will be on island more often for sure.
You plan to build in Dominica.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Let me ask you one question. Okay, I'm going to put more weight on you.
Go ahead.
All right. Few of us as Dominicans, grown Dominicans, have not or do not know the 3 stanzas of the national anthem. I'm going to throw it on you now. Let's see what she's doing. He's up now.
Okay.
Yes.
It's one of those things that off the top of my head, like if I'm saying it out loud,
Okay.
I'm scared. You put me on blast. Now I'm nervous. But if I'm singing it,
yeah, you remember.
Yes.
I understand.
And I want to say on the note of stanzas, can I point out that at the Olympics, we got the most stanzas on the podium. When yes. So everybody else got the first stanza. If they have multiple stanzas in their national anthem, they got only the first. We got 2. And I was so proud.
Let's take a few phone calls here. Of course. Hello, talk to me, yes? On the telephone, yes?
Yes, good morning, Mark.
Morning to you.
Good morning, Franklin.
Good morning to you.
And the golden lady, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to hear your voice again.
Oh, thank you.
But I'm going to ask you a personal question this morning. What do you think, or what do you have in mind to do with our children in Dominica to be another CLF?
Okay, that is a great question. I think one of the biggest things I'll be working on is actually partnering with the DOC and the DAA in helping develop not only training facilities, but also access to materials, to coaching sessions and such, to ensure that we are not only building up the athletes, but we're also building up the coaches, right? You need high quality coaches also. Now I'm not gonna sit here and completely disregard the one major fact, as I brought up before, that there is a duality to my life. I am in the States and I'm in Dominica. And so having people around that I can lean on and consult with before making major decisions and moving forth is very important to me. It might be in a realm of, like I said, assisting with getting coaches and materials or equipment, hurdles and such for the athletes. But there might also be a place where, I'm now in a position where I can actually make donations to directly help athletes maybe acquire, whether it be shoes, clothing, tickets to competitions, or even help cover room and board in certain situations, maybe for scholarships. So there are definitely different things that we're working on, things that are very much so in their early stages. But we look forward to exploring those avenues.
We spoke, and I heard the Prime Minister saying that it's going to build a track in your name. How confident are you that we will get a track?
I feel pretty confident. I think that the Dominican people are also, eagerly awaiting this. There's a natural increase in interest in this sport, and I really do believe it's one of those build it and they will come situations. There's also other projects in the works, including some field facilities in Maho, I believe. I've been speaking to Fabian Florent about that, along with Brendan Williams, and hopefully we can get that in the works quite soon. I've also actually been getting multiple interests on people from overseas wanting to donate to that cause too.
Really?
So whether, whenever the track is built, that'd be amazing. But in the meantime, there's also other things in the works to ensure that athletes have facilities and access to resources in the meanwhile.
Let's take another phone call. The lines are coming in quickly. Hello, yes?
Matt, is me again. I had a second question.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
I would ask the golden lady, do you think that we have enough children in Dominica to have a track in Dominica? Because I listened yesterday that a man was on the air and he said we do not have enough children. So I would like a response from that.
Okay, I will say that the answer is yes. And I think that people often forget that the track is more than just a training place. It is also a venue, right? Meaning that even having a track could also open the doors to actually hosting track meets, right? It'd be lovely to have a kind of inter-island club championship situation, whereas like maybe St. Lucia can come over and train or compete here, or maybe a group of islands can come to Dominica and train. My dream one day would be that Dominica would be able to host even a small international competition, maybe like the Carifta Games, which is actually quite vast in the Caribbean. But the track provides not only job opportunities, but it provides training opportunities. We see major teams like Canada going to Grenada every season during the winter to train. So it's something that's bigger than just us. And I do think that we have enough children to make it matter.
Okay. 10:15 is the morning time, and we have another 10 minutes. Frank, any other question from you?
Yes, I do.
I see you asking some deep questions. That's good.
Oh, no. I know she can handle it. Right, Lily? The lights go right up the elevator. Okay. Going back to your husband.
Yeah.
All right. How did you all meet?
Okay, good question. So after I was out of college, and I started coaching in the community.
Okay.
And Aaron was coaching at the same time with his best friend, Muhammad Halim, a triple jumper for U.S. Virgin Islands. And we were both coaching high school kids, so secondary school. And I remember after 2016, I really wanted a new coach. And I remember that Muhammad had also qualified for the Olympics. I had gone via universality, but he qualified. And so I messaged Muhammad and I asked, hey, I need help. I need a new coach, because the last situation had me terrible in Rio. Muhammad wasn't answering me. So I went on Instagram and I commented under every single photo on his Instagram page. I was desperate for a new coach. Muhammad finally reached out to me. He said, my bad, I'm terrible with my phone. Let's meet for lunch. We go to lunch. Muhammad has Aaron with him. And I was like, oh, I've met them before. Like you said, we coached in the community together. And Muhammad said, I think this guy is the person that you need to help you be successful. I said, okay. Aaron asked me when I could start training. I said tomorrow. It's like, if we can do this, I want to do this now. Fast forward 3 months, 3-4 months of working together, and I'm at practice, and I'm like, ooh, this man is cute. This man is cute. And I knew that professionally, Aaron is very professional.
Okay.
And all that he does, I knew he was not, I didn't know if he was interested in me, but I also knew that he was not going to make the first move, because there's no way he would ever break the professionalism of coach athlete.
Okay.
I respected that, but I also was curious too. So one day I was out with some girlfriends, and I knew that he had told me he lived in the neighborhood. So I was like, hey, why don't you come to, dinner with us and, hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did. And then my friends were like, oh yeah, he's cute. They saw him. I told them everything. And I think at the end of the night.
You were talking about him before you met him.
Yeah, I was talking about him before he came to the group,
Okay.
And then afterwards, I asked him if we could hang out. I asked him on a date, and he kind of looked at me for a second, and I was like, "Ooh, is he going to say no?" But he said yes, and we've been together ever since. So, kudos to him, for.
You're not done yet. How many years now?
It has been 8 years together.
Oh my! Okay.
And 2 years married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 years married.
Children in the future, you see? Having a family.
Children in the future? Yes, we definitely want children. It'll be 2 years at the end of September.
Okay.
And we definitely want children. We've definitely spoken about that. We want at least 2.
You plan to go to another Olympics?
Well, we don't know yet, and that's the honest answer. In the realm of I'm 30, in the next Olympics I'll be 34. And depending on where we decide to have children, if the opportunity presents itself, I will definitely seize it. But as of right now, I barely know what's on the rest of the schedule for today. I can't even tell you 4 years out.
Let's take another phone call. Hi, hello, yes?
Hello.
Yes, yeah.
Good morning to your guest.
Morning.
Congrats is added to all what she has got already. But I want to touch on 3 points that most athletes, in fact, all athletes should adhere to. 1, respect for the laws of the game. 2, fair play. 3, level playing field. In Tia's movement towards that prestigious gold medal, I think all along she must have adhered to those 3 important aspects. But in Dominica, I think these 3 aspects continue to elude us. Respect in other areas of our lives. Respect for the law. Fair play in everything that we do. And a level playing field. For example, if Tia had passed the white line in jumping, it would be a foul. And she couldn't make noise with any referee for the foul if they punish her. So I am asking Tia's comment on these 3 areas, 3 aspects of her movement towards attaining that prestigious. Apart from this, her skill set. Thank you very much.
Is that too difficult for you?
That was in-depth questioning.
Yeah, I think that, the 3 key points that he mentioned are definitely important. I think there is a true respect to the game, to the sport in general, respecting referees, respecting the rules. I also think it's really important to hone in on that equal playing field, right? In ensuring that all athletes are the same in their sport, that there is no major favoritism or perks of being one place over the other. But I also want to even extend that to, equalizing the playing field for us to the rest of the world, in what we do. I mean, even the idea and concept of having a place to train is massive, because I want us to be competitive. But how do you be competitive if you do not have the right tools and resources to train at the same level as your competitors? Right. But I do implore, especially the young athletes out there, to remember that to do sport is a privilege, but it's also meant to be fun. Like, please enjoy the process. Like, do not get so caught up in the details and the politics of it all that you forget that sport is supposed to be unifying. It's competition, yes, but let's not very too far from that. If I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm not loving it.
Does make sense.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that. Like we enjoy, Matt enjoys what he's doing. I enjoy being with him. Yeah.
And let's take our final call and then we'll wrap it up here in a minute. Hello? Yes.
Yes, greetings, brethren. Greetings to Mr. Moses and greetings to our golden girl, Tia Lafont. Tia, I just want to thank you for reactivating the confidence in our children in Dominica. Because as I'm seeing it right now, since there's no track and field, we have a lot of children that have those abilities just like you to pursue goals, whether in track and field, in high jump, in all those other sports. And I'm so happy that you did it for us to show them that they can do it if you did it. Just like I know that it's not all children that have the ability to be in track and field. There's children that could be doctors, lawyers, and so on and so forth, like our great Dr. Dale Dungleben from La Pointe, Dr. Mitchell from Newtown, and that do wonders in the United States, and many other doctors from Dominica's overseas. But I'm happy that you could give them the confidence that they could achieve a lot into sports. But it first starts with the people of Dominica rallying to the governance to do for the children, because they are the future. And I'm so thankful that you did it for us, even if it wasn't in Dominica you trained, but you're from Dominica and you decide to run for Dominica and you're back in Dominica, so that will give them confidence. So thank you. And may your achievements continue, whatever you want to do in the future. But your children will always remember you. And we need to put a monument up because you did it for us. And we will never forget you. All right?
All right, brother. Thank you very much. But time is of the essence here. Somebody says, that I think it's Dr. Dale Dangleben that's sharing a few, he's trying to bring athletic and orthopedic support to athletes in Dominica. And he wants to congratulate you for doing the job that you did. Dr. Dale Dangleben there, a trauma surgeon out of Pennsylvania. He says, yes, good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I support that initiative. I am as good as my PT is to help me feel good. So I definitely believe in that support and the need for strong medical assistance at the elite part of sport.
All right, let's take a final. The telephones won't stop. I can tell you that. Hello, our final call this morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I would like to say congratulations to you, first of all. But I would like to say, because over the years I've heard the Ministry of Sports, so I'm asking for the parents to support their children. I myself have been at meets, and you hardly find parents there cheering on the children. I am going to ask, how important is it for parents to be there, present at each of their children's meet, or at least most of their children's meet? Because I tell you, that is the most confident a child would see their mother or their father there, even though the parents are embarrassing themselves, shouting and and whatever it is. But it is very important, because I've seen it when parents are there, how the children perform, and when the parents are not there. So how important? Or can you call out to the parents to come to the meets and support their children? Thank you.
Very important.
Very important. So yes, upon request, parents, please. I don't think parents often understand the power that they hold just by being present. We all know at this point that previously I was also an educator. From the field in any sport to even the classroom, having a parent come in completely changes the way a child interacts with the world, completely changes their confidence levels, and lets them know that they are supported in multiple aspects in life. And I'm not saying you have to come to every single meet, and I understand there are working parents working to put food on the table, and not being able to be at every major meet or competition might not be possible. But maybe send someone, an auntie.
Your daddy said
send somebody to let them know that what they're doing is worth the attention of those that care
That's
about.
very powerful. That's very powerful.
They need it. Start it young. Build the confidence now, because it's so hard to build it once they're in the teenage years and
very
elder.
Important.
Create it now.
I remember trying to be at every football game that my son plays. Very important to him. You look out and you see you there, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's a different. But again, here we have to wrap it up now. I hope we could continue having that conversation
Yes.
until because the telephones are still going. But I want to say thank you, and you get a lot of support from the DCA.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
I'm grateful. But again, thank you very much for coming and sharing your thoughts with us this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's been a joy.
All right.
Thanks for the energy.
Hey, anytime.
NRG. Yes.
All right. Take care now.
Yep.
Thank you for coming.
The elephant in history will forever stay. Oh, see her on the golden queen, jumping for the flag with a heart so keen. Skies witness the tale. Dominica shines, victories prevail. See your love on the golden queen.
Yeah, I'm Sheridan Gregoire. I don't know whether you know me at all, but I just wanted to join the rest of Dominica and the Q family at home and abroad and extending to you the highest commendations to you and your family for your remarkable historic achievement. I did tell Matt that that we would like to honor you in a meaningful way, in some way. I'm the CEO of the 25, but I'm also the chairman of our Kudos to Our Heroes committee. And our committee members are spread out through, in Dominica, there's some there, some in Canada, and some in different states in the U.S. And we have recognized and honored and awarded some 15 distinguished Dominicans over the past 4 years. And I can just give you one or two of the names. First person we did was Doreen Francis. She was a social worker. She was involved in Save the Children Fund. Felix Henderson was an icon, a cultural icon in the Creole language. So Whitney Louis, who was a consummate lifer. In fact, he's still alive. He's somewhere in the 90s now. Biggest farmer in Dominica, still farming. Annette Sentilla, who was a pioneer businesswoman. Ozzie Lewis, a sports icon in Dominica. Dr. Hendricks Paul, a lifelong surgeon, medical doctor. Dr. Orlin Bully. We all know Orlin Bully, cultural icon. The first Prime Minister of Dominica, Patrick Rowan John. Herbert Suki Winston. Ophelia Oliver Marie. Sir Brian Alleyne. Mrs. Dorothy Levy. Sonia Lloyd, a cultural icon as well. Irving Chillingford, the cricketer. Dr. Hazel Ricketts, who's an ophthalmologist who we all know very well and love in Dominica. She was the last person that we honored, and we would like to honor you and award you and recognize you in pretty much the same way. And essentially, what we would like to do is to, if you're interested, of course, and hope you'll be able to accept our invitation to honor you, we would like to do that sometime around the 14th of October, which is Thanksgiving Day, I believe, and really in the national spirit, because at that time, 5th November is coming up, Creole Festival is coming up, and so on. So we would like to, our Kudos to our Heroes Committee, would like to honor you as a national hero on that day, if you're able to accept that. And the reason is that you're still in lifelong contribution to sports in general, and particularly in athletics, and for winning the historic gold medal, the pinnacle of excellence in the 2024 Paris Olympics triple jump event. So if it's something that you would like to have us do, and you can get back to us, or you can say yes if you like this now, we would certainly be very happy to do that.
Did you get the statement? He'd be happy to honor you as a kudos to you, on kudos to you.
Well, one, I would like to say thank you, even for considering me for such an award and such a recognition. And I truly am honored to hear how much this entire moment has meant to you. And I will definitely look forward to speaking with you more on this. You will definitely be in touch, and I'm hoping that would I be able to give him some contact information?
Yes, I'm
at
sure.
the end of the call or something off air?
I'll send him your husband's number.
That sounds lovely. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly appreciate it, and to hear such a long, strong lineage of heroic Dominicans that were honored before me. It is truly a privilege to be amongst these ranks.
Any final comments, Mr. G?
In actual fact, Matt and Tia, I would really like to thank you for giving Dominica that great honor. And in fact, I've listened to you articulating about your country and the way you've stated how much you love your country. And you did that immediately, spontaneously after winning this gold medal. It seems to me, I think that touched every Dominican, including myself and my family. We really felt very proud to have you as a Dominican and knowing that we are Dominican along with you. We felt that what you accomplished was for all of us. And really, what I'm truly impressed with is your humility. And I know your mom, and I did not expect anything less. All right? But we just want to thank you tremendously for what you've accomplished for Dominica.
All right, Mr. G, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Of course, you'll be, honored and kudos on cue right here. Again, Mr. G, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Bye, Franklin. Bye, Tia.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Air. Dominica ride within without care. Gold she grabbed with strength and might. Triple jump into victory, what a sight. First gold medal, she brought it home. In the city of love, she shone and rolled. Pride and glory in every leap. A legacy of dreams she so deep. Oh, Tia, from the Golden Queen, jumping for the flag with a heart so keen. Paris, skies witness the tale. Dominica shines, victories prevail. Oh, oh, from the nature out to the world she flew. With every step her spirit grew. Olympic dreams now a truth untold. In the jump we find pure gold. A story written in the stars. A champion's heart that beats so far. We celebrate you with songs of cheer. Feel the fall you conquered fear. Oh, feel from the Golden Queen, jumping for the flag with a heart so keen. Paris, skies witness the tale. Dominica shines, victories prevail. From the nature out to the world she flew. With every step her spirit grew. Olympic dreams now a truth untold. In Via's jump we find pure gold. Her story written in the stars. A champion's heart that beats so far. We celebrate you with songs of cheer. Feel the fall you conquered fear. Oh, feel from the Golden Queen, jumping for the flag with a heart so keen. Paris, skies witness the tale. Dominica shines, victories prevail. Golden moment we cherish so. The elephant forever we know. Olympic triumph you define. Dominican pride your light will shine.
In a moment, you will meet someone who will take you on a mysterious musical journey. Be ready for positive energy and unforgettable experience. You won't forget this party. You won't forget these people. Let's get started. 5, 4, 3, 2. Please welcome Selector Urban.
When I reach any party, everybody done know. Oh, oh, oh. If you think I'm crazy, it's the music that got me so. Oh, oh. When my party people, throw your hands in the sky. I. Come, my friends, I need you. It's time to raise the vibe with your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah, flow is love. Yeah, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Grab somebody and tell them no. Your happiness when we connect. Smile and cheer because it's me so. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Independent ladies, step to the front. Oh, oh, oh. Fellas, are you ready? Step to the front. Oh, oh, oh. When my party people, put your hands in the sky. I. Come, my friends, I need you. It's time to raise the vibe with your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah, flow is love. Yeah. Hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Happiness where we connect to flow. Smile and cheer because it's me so. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Flow is love. Yeah. Hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness when we connect to flow. Smile and cheer because it's me so. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Grab somebody and hold them there. Jam with each other. Grab somebody and hold them there. Jam with each other. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Hold them close, don't go nowhere.
Hello, welcome to Flow.
When I reach any party, everybody done know. Oh, oh, oh. If you think I'm crazy, it's the music that got me so. Oh, oh. When my party people, throw your hands in the sky. I. Come, my friends, I need you. It's time to raise the vibe with your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Flow is love. Yeah. Hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness when we connect to flow. Smile and cheer because it's me so. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Independent ladies, step to the front. Oh, oh, oh. Fellas, are you ready? Step to the front. Oh, oh, oh. When my party people, put your hands in the sky. I. Come, my friends, I need you. It's time to raise the vibe with your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Flow is love. Yeah. Hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Grab somebody and tell them hello. baby, connect. Smile and cheer because it's me so. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Grab somebody and hold them. Jam with each other. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Flow is love, yeah. Hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow. Yeah. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness will be connected. Smile and cheer because it's me so. Grab somebody and tell them hello. Grab somebody and hold them there. Jam with each other. Grab somebody and hold them there. Jam with each other. Hold them close, don't go nowhere. Hold them close, don't go nowhere.
Hello, welcome to Flow.
Roots Rock Bar and